Queen Elizabeth I was known as the Virgin Queen because she chose never to marry throughout her life. This decision was not merely a personal choice but also part of a shrewd political strategy. As a queen, Elizabeth I faced immense pressure to marry and produce an heir. However, behind her decision to remain single lay far more complex reasons. Did she truly never fall in love? Or was there a greater political interest that led her to reject all marriage proposals? This is the story of Elizabeth I, a queen who not only changed the course of English history but also proved that a woman could rule with full authority without relying on marriage. Elizabeth I was born in 1533 as the daughter of King Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn. However, from an early age, her life was filled with uncertainty and political intrigue. Her mother was executed for treason when Elizabeth was only 2 years old. After that, her royal status was revoked, forcing her to live in the shadows of uncertainty for many years. After the death of her half-sister, Mary I, Elizabeth ascended the throne in 1558. However, England's situation at the time was far from stable. The country was facing religious tensions between Protestants and Catholics, its influence in Europe was waning, and threats from powerful kingdoms like Spain and France were increasing. Amidst this turmoil, one major question loomed over her: who would be Queen Elizabeth I's husband? From the beginning of her reign, many expected Elizabeth to marry and secure an heir. Numerous kings and noblemen from across Europe sought her hand, including King Philip II of Spain, Prince Eric of Sweden, and the Duke of Anjou from France. However, Elizabeth rejected all these proposals. This decision was not without reason. Marriage meant losing power. In the 16th century, a queen who married would automatically cede much of her power to her husband. If Elizabeth married a foreign nobleman, England could fall under the influence of another nation. By remaining single, Elizabeth retained full control over her government. She also used her unmarried status as a diplomatic tool, keeping foreign kings hopeful but never truly committing. Trauma from her family's marriages, Elizabeth grew up witnessing how her father's marriages were fraught with intrigue and violence. Henry VIII married 6 times, and 2 of his wives were executed, including Anne Boleyn, Elizabeth's own mother. She also saw how her sister Mary I's marriage to King Philip II of Spain made her increasingly unpopular in England. Viewing marriage as a political tool often accompanied by cruelty, Elizabeth likely felt safer remaining single. Making herself a national symbol, Elizabeth crafted her image as the mother of the English people, not as the wife of any man. As the Virgin Queen, she demonstrated that she was not bound by personal or familial interests but was wholly devoted to her country. Additionally, by not having a husband, she could make decisions without external pressures and maintain political balance within her realm. Although she never married, that does not mean Elizabeth had no close relationships with men. The person most frequently linked to her was Robert Dudley, her childhood friend and one of her most trusted advisors. Many believed they loved each other, but there was one major issue: Robert Dudley was already married. When his wife, Amy Robsart, mysteriously died in 1560, rumors spread that Elizabeth would marry him. However, due to the ensuing scandal, Elizabeth chose to distance herself and remain unmarried. Although she likely had feelings for Dudley, she understood that her power and her country were more important than personal relationships. Elizabeth I ruled England for 44 years, bringing stability and prosperity during the Elizabethan Golden Age. Under her leadership, England achieved several great milestones. The Spanish Armada was defeated in 1588, establishing England as a dominant naval power. Arts and culture flourished, with figures like William Shakespeare emerging. England began exploring the world, paving the way for colonization in North America. However, when she passed away in 1603, the English throne was inherited by King James I, as Elizabeth had no direct heir. Though she chose not to marry, Elizabeth remains remembered as one of the most powerful queens in history. Her decision to stay single was not a weakness but a strategic move that ensured England's glory for years to come. Elizabeth I was not just a queen who rejected marriage, she was a ruler who deeply understood the importance of power and diplomacy. By staying unmarried, she maintained full control over her nation, avoided foreign influence, and built an image of herself as a leader wholly dedicated to England. Her decision may have been controversial at the time, but history has proven that it was the right one. To this day, she remains a symbol of strength, intelligence, and the independence of a female leader. Want to discover more fascinating stories about world leaders? Don't forget to follow Secrets of World History and uncover unique facts that changed history.